How to communicate. My loved ones, after they pass away, when someone dies, they leave their body behind, and their spirit, soul, consciousness, or energy, however you want to refer to it, lives on. They move to another plane of existence that is not visible to us here in this dimension. It is highly unlikely you'll be able to use your 5 physical senses to detect their continued existence, but that doesn't mean you can't still communicate with them. When spirits reach the other side, they are aware of the emotional impact their passing causes their loved ones. Many will try to send back a message that they are okay. How do they do this? In the beginning, when they first cross over, they probably don't know how. Kindly beings, other deceased relatives, angels, and spirit guides can probably help. But just because they get some assistance in sending a message doesn't mean the living will pick it up. Imagine how frustrating that must be for a spirit to have to watch people crying for them and be unable to comfort them. Over time, the deceased spirit will try to send signs that they are still there, that their energy continues to exist. Signs can include so many things that it would be impossible to name them all. But common signs are flickering lights, pictures hanging on the wall that get skewed or fall altogether, disruptions with your electronic systems, animals going a little kittywampus because they can see the spirit, finding pennies, finding feathers, odd interactions with butterflies or birds, familiar smells associated with your deceased loved one, special songs coming on the radio, and many more. 1. Ask for a response to simple questions. This technique is not as useful for contacting dead loved ones, but it is a common practice used by paranormal investigators who are attempting to talk with spirits at a location that is haunted or potentially haunted. Go to a room in which the most paranormal activity takes place. Ask basic yes or no questions and request a specific method of answering. The most common methods of reply are knocking and flashlights. For knocking, instruct any spirits in the room to give 1 knock for yes or 2 for no. If using a flashlight, go with a flashlight that can be turned on easily, like one with a button on the end. Turn it on and unscrew the front section until the flashlight just barely goes off. Set it down on a flat surface and position it so that it cannot roll away on its own. Gently push on the power button and make sure that the light can flicker on and off. Instruct any spirits in the room to tap on the button once for yes or twice for no. 2. Say prayers. Not every faith has a practice you can use for praying to or for the dead, but some do. These prayers are often intercessory in nature and take 2 forms. In the first, you are praying for the deceased loved one to find rest and joy in the afterlife, rather than to them specifically, but it might be with the knowledge that your dead loved one is listening or aware of your prayers. In the second, you are praying to the deceased loved one. You are not asking for salvation from the spirit, but you are asking your loved one to intercede or pray for you from the other side. Some believe that, as a part of the spiritual realm, the spirit of someone who had strong faith in life will be able to make a more ardent plea or prayer for you to a deity from the other side. 3. Look into mirror gazing. Mirror gazing is a practice some use in an effort to talk to dead loved ones. It is similar to trying to connect to the spirit using your mind, but in this practice, you use a mirror to help establish the connection more clearly. Quiet your thoughts. Go to a silent room where you can be alone and stand in front of a mirror. Close your eyes and rid yourself of anxiety, intense emotion, or unrelated thought. Focus your thoughts on the person you want to speak with. Create an image of that person in your mind. Make the image as clear as possible until you can practically see their features. Open your eyes slowly and look into the mirror. Imagine that the image in your mind will appear in the mirror, even if the image is blurry or overlaps with your own. You should be able to see the image of your deceased loved one in the mirror. Ask your questions. Do not force answers, but be open to them. Also be aware of the fact that the answers may come as emotions or images rather than words. 4. Talk without asking for a reply. If you are hesitant or skeptical about talking to dead loved ones using paranormal or supernatural means, you can always talk to the dead without asking for an answer. In return, for those who believe in the existence of spirits, it is also a common belief that those spirits may watch over living loved ones. You can talk to a deceased loved one anywhere, or you could choose a location that has special meaning, such as a grave or a place where you shared a memorable experience. Tell the person whatever is on your mind. You can ask questions, but since you are not looking for answers, you do not necessarily need to limit yourself to questions. 5. Communicate with the deceased through a possession. Some have found that objects owned by a deceased person are still connected to that person's spirit. Possessions can give you the power to call that person's spirit to you and make it possible to communicate. If you wish to talk with a loved one who has passed away, seek out an item of clothing, a book, or some other personal object that the person used. Take it to the place where the person lived or stayed. Hold the object and initiate a conversation. 6. Work with a medium. Mediums are well versed in connecting with spirits of the dead. You can usually contact a medium by searching for one online or in a phone book. If you want to speak to a dead loved one, the medium may ask to meet at your home, or may have you come to his or her place of work. If you want a medium to speak to a spirit you believe to be in your home, the medium will need to come to your home. Not every medium will perform the latter service, but most will provide the former. Be wary about the medium you choose to go to. Even those who are not skeptical about the practice of speaking to the dead will usually be willing to acknowledge that not every medium is legitimate. As with anything else, there are scam artists out there. Research a medium before scheduling an appointment with him or her and try to verify that he or she is the real deal. When you meet for your appointment, take note of whether or not the medium is leading you on with questions and having you provide the answers they claim to be offering. 7. Shift your focus to sharpen your sixth sense. If simply focusing on the image of your dead loved one is not enough form of connection, You could try a more structured method of shifting your focus to a higher realm. Make yourself consciously aware of what it feels like to be yourself in the present moment. Note your location, the time, and your feelings. Otherwise, it may make it difficult to return to your sense afterward. Gradually bring your senses into soft focus, or a state of being in which you are less aware of the physical details around you. Once your physical awareness goes down, focus on the energy surrounding you in the room. Do not look for it, but merely make yourself open to forces present in the room other than yourself. If you feel any presences, try asking questions. Be aware that any answers you do receive may not come as words, but as images or emotions. 8. Conduct a seance. A seance is a gathering of people who communicate with the dead using their collective energy. To perform one, you will need at least 3 people who are open to the experience. This practice can be used to talk to dead, loved ones, or wandering spirits. Be warned, however, that you do run a notable risk of contacting a malicious spirit. Set the mood by dimming the lights and lighting candles. Use 3 candles or a number of candles divisible by 3. You may even light incense. Have the participants hold candles around a table to create a circle. Perform a chant to call out to the spirits. Alternatively, you may also attempt to call the spirits using a Ouija board. Wait for a response, repeating your chant as necessary. Once you make a connection, calmly ask your questions. Break the seance by breaking the circle and putting the candles out. Thank you for watching. God bless.